Hello, and welcome back to Proving the Concept, the podcast where we dive into the weird, wonderful, and sometimes downright bizarre world of science and technology. I'm your host, Sarah Goffin, and today we're talking about something that affects all of us, the environment. Specifically, we're going to explore the fascinating world of green chemistry. We'll discuss its origins, some of the fun and quirky innovations in the field, and to wrap things up, we'll spotlight a pioneering female scientist whose groundbreaking work has shaped the way we think about sustainable science. So, grab your favourite eco-friendly beverage and let's dive in. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is green chemistry? Green chemistry, sometimes called sustainable chemistry, is a scientific approach that focuses on designing products and processes that minimize environmental impact. Unlike traditional chemistry, which might deal with the problem of pollution after it occurs, green chemistry aims to prevent it in the first place. The concept was formalized in the 1990s thanks to chemists Paul Anastas and John Warner, who developed the 12 Principles of Green Chemistry. These principles act as a kind of manifesto for the field, encouraging chemists to design safer chemicals, reduce waste, use renewable resources, and increase energy efficiency. One of my favorite principles is number 6, design for energy efficiency. It's basically saying, hey chemists, if you can do your reactions at room temperature instead of heating things up, go for it. It's simple, but it can make a huge difference in reducing the carbon footprint of chemical manufacturing. Now, let's get into some of the fun stuff. Here are a few quirky and surprising innovations from the world of green chemistry. Number 1, edible water pods. Have you ever heard of uho? It's a blob-like water container made from seaweed. Instead of drinking water from a plastic bottle, you can pop this biodegradable pod into your mouth and drink it directly. No waste, just hydration. Number 2, plastic made from shrimp shells. Researchers have developed bioplastics from chitosan, a material found in shrimp shells. Not only is it biodegradable, but it also helps solve the problem of seafood waste. Number 3, coffee grounds fuel. Your morning coffee might one day fuel your car. Scientists have found ways to convert used coffee grounds into biodiesel. It's a win-win. Fewer coffee grounds in landfills and more sustainable energy sources. And finally, number 4, solar-powered chemistry. Some chemists are using sunlight to power their reactions. It isn't just cool, it's revolutionary. By harnessing renewable energy, these researchers are cutting down the electricity usage and fossil fuels to carry out these reactions. Green chemistry may have gained traction in the 1990s, but its roots can be traced back to earlier environmental movements. Rachel Carson's seminal book, Silent Spring, published in 1962, is often cited as a key influence. Although Carson wasn't a chemist, her work highlighted the environmental and health impacts of pesticides like DDT, sparking a global conversation about sustainable practices. In response to growing environmental concerns, governments and industries began looking for ways to clean up their act. By the 1980s, chemists were realizing that prevention was better than cure. Why clean up pollution when you can design chemicals and processes that don't produce it in the first place? Now, no episode about green chemistry would be complete without celebrating the incredible work of a female scientist in this field. Today, let's talk about Dr. Karen Woolley. Dr. Woolley is a professor of chemistry at Texas A&M University and a trailblazer in the development of sustainable polymers. Those are the building blocks of plastics, in case you're wondering. Her work focuses on creating materials that are not only biodegradable, but also functional. One of her standout projects involved designing plastics from sugars and other natural materials. These materials break down into harmless substances when disposed of, avoiding the long-term environmental problems caused by traditional plastics. Dr. Woolley's research doesn't just reduce waste, it also shows that sustainable materials can be just as effective, if not better, than their traditional counterparts. She's won numerous awards for her work, including the 2020 Presidential Green Chemistry Challenge Award, which is like the Oscars of green chemistry. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We've explored what green chemistry is, some of its quirkiest innovations, and the story of Dr. Karen Woolley, a scientist who's making the world a greener place. I hope this episode has inspired you to think about how science and technology can work hand in hand with sustainability. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow eco-warriors. Thanks for tuning in to Proving the Concept. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, the future is green.